You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Despite official denials by leaders of the free world, sources now confirm the existence of Megaforce, a phantom army of super elite fighting men.
It all sounds like some bad movie.
Anyway, welcome to episode number 80 of Moviesucktastic.
86.
86 is what I said.
86.
We're reviewing...
we are 14 weeks of our 100th episode.
Short 100 episode.
Close to, nearby. How much do you think the opening credits for Megaforce cost? Where everything is just inverted.
Well, somebody in our live stream chat room, yes, we have people in our live stream chat room, shut up, pointed out that we just, the spoiler alert, because we just showed the ending to the movie, basically.
You know what?
What?
It doesn't, I don't care. I really don't.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
It only matters if you are the audience that Megaforce was geared towards, which is if you are not a 12-year-old boy,
right,
this film's not meant for you.
That's absolutely true. As a matter of fact,
a 12-year-old boy would be upset that you ruined the ending because a 12-year-old boy is the only person that can be surprised and overjoyed by seeing that ending.
I think so, and I think it's the biggest reason why there was a video game as well.
Well, you mentioned the cost. How much the budget for Megaforce?
The budget was $20 million for that. And
that was the highest budgeted film ever of that year, right?
No, it wasn't. There's a couple of films that actually beat it out, like Blade Runner.
How much was Blade Runner?
I believe that was $28 million.
So you look at Blade Runner and think $28 million.
It's not a huge difference.
Well, in budget, no, but in quality, yes. I'm saying if you look at Blade Runner and think
huge. Blade Runner still holds up. Cinematically, still holds up.
Yeah, you look at $28 million for Blade Runner, you're like, wow, they did a lot. And then you look at $20 million for Megaforce, and you're wondering who pocketed that money.
As a matter of fact, I use a website called The Numbers. Whenever I do any kind of fact-checking about films and budgets and what it cost and what it made, and it's a great website if you want to do that by year. And just to give an idea of the year that was 1982, and more importantly, the films that were coming out at the same time as Megaforce, because this was a summer release. E.T. had only come out... I believe E.T. had only come out a week. I'm sorry. E.T. came out on June 11th. Megaforce came out on June 25th. Okay? Star Trek 2. All of these movies came out the same month as Megaforce. Star Trek 2, Poltergeist, E.T., Firefox, Blade Runner, Megaforce, and The Thing. Those were all the huge budget films of 1982. These are the budgets for those movies. You've got $12 million for Star Trek. $10 million for Poltergeist, $10 million for E.T., $21 million for Firefox, Blade Runner was $28 million, Megaforce $20 million. All, to be honest, all pretty decent flicks, with the exception of Megaforce.
So Megaforce
and the
had
quality
the same budget
as
Firefox.
Correct.
And
well, Firefox was, it's got its own issues. Firefox doesn't hold up like, say, a movie like Blade Runner or Poltergeist or even Star Trek 2.
It doesn't look cheap.
But it's
it doesn't
double.
look like...
Well, this is also, Double the budget. Well, while watching Megaforce, you could absolutely tell, like the scene that's on right now for anyone watching live, or will go back and watch the show on live stream. The amount of explosions, the amount of just artillery that they use, the amount of just C4 blue screen is just staggering in this movie. All their budget was put on that. They're blowing shit up. Like, and when they blow shit up, it is on a large scale.
That can't be $20 million worth of explosives, though.
Well, they obviously they mismanaged their budget. I don't know if any of that budget went into making the video game, but they also had an E.T. video game.
I don't think they mismanaged any budget. I think they specifically managed the budget. I'm not accusing Hal Needham of being a thief or anything.
Okay.
But because it was also a Golden Harvest release too.
Right.
And them doing an American production, you know, they did Hong Kong productions and shoestring budget type stuff. I just really get the feeling that, like, when Hal Needham and Golden Harvest go to, you know, go to Hollywood and they get this huge budget and like, okay, and we're not going to use this. I guarantee he blew a lot of the budget on stunt people because he's a stunt man himself. He's big on driving stunts. A lot of highly paid trained drivers in this film. You've got 30 motorcycles and 20 Jeeps, doom buggies.
Yeah,
going all over the place
easily.
Now, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, looking into July, July is your big month for movies, like your big month. Films, and you know what? It's a sign of the times, because looking at June of 1982, all of your giant, blockbuster films were in June. In July of 1982, the only thing that came out that was, I guess, could have been considered a blockbuster was Tron, and that only had a budget of $17 million. Things have changed nowadays, where June is kind of like the month where, not where blockbusters go to die, but they're not nearly as successful as your July releases for some reason. But Tron, $17 million for Tron.
Well, I think also, if you look at it, at that point in time, again, this is before video, this is before streaming or anything. You had to see movies in theaters. It was a big deal. And all your major blockbuster movies, let's say family ones, like let's say E.T., for example, they were planned well for marketing involved as well. So not only did you have the movie, I mean, Megaforce, if you look at what they released simultaneously, they had a huge ad campaign. They had a video game that released at the same time for an Atari 2600.
Right.
They had a large Mattel toy line of action figures.
Toy line for Megaforce?
A large one.
Really?
Some of the largest, huge aircraft carriers, stuff that's not in the film. You can find a lot of this on sale on eBay right now.
So they were really taking a chance on this movie.
They were really depending on it being a big blockbuster and a big sell. And the cross promotion was amazing. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that's commonplace now. Every time a film comes out, they're cranking out toy lines, et cetera, et cetera. But back then, I mean, how many toy lines did you have? You had G.I. Joe. E.T. came out with some toys, but it wasn't like they did a whole new action figure set.
Right.
Mattel released. They had a whole line of tanks and attack vehicles. There's a couple of sites that deal specifically just on toy collectors. There's websites where you can just go and look at all the stuff that was ever released.
Well, what I find interesting is when you look at these films, and to point out that they relied heavily on it. They were expecting it to be a blockbuster. The other films that came out in June, they cost $12 million and $10 million and $10 million and so on and so forth. But Star Trek II, it made $79 million for a measly $12 million budget.
Yeah.
Poltergeist, $74 million, $121 worldwide. E.T., on the other hand, $10 million budget, $435 million. That's also with re-releases, though. Megaforce, $5.6 million. No European distribution. It bombed here. They didn't bother. They didn't bother spending the extra money to try and have it live on somewhere else. They just called it dead in the water after it bombed here.
It's not even the kind of movie that would really have legs overseas either.
No. Well, look at Blade Runner. Blade Runner cost 28, but only made 32. They tried to go overseas, and it only made an extra $1 million.
One of our listeners just corrected me, and they're correct. I'm sorry, I'm not a toy aficionado, and I misspoke. It wasn't Mattel, it was Kenner.
It was Kenner?
Kenner Toys, not Mattel. Sorry. And a lot of people, for a younger audience, who the hell's Kenner? But yeah. But thank you for that. That's my bad.
That's okay. Well,
Heat of the moment.
Hey.
I mean, there's
well,
even.
You know what? It's one of those scenarios where if you said Mattel in the 80s, you're probably right.
Yeah, right.
For the most part, you're probably right.
There's
so
even
it was a good guess.
There's even a YouTube video for a Vertibird toy where it's like it has a base in the center and the little bird would fly around and you could pick up things with it. And It's one of those things where the commercials for like an Air Force rescue, but they did one where they just slapped new stickers on it and called it the Megaforce Vertibird.
The Megaforce.
And you could. But you know, everything was geared toward this being a big hit. And it's one of those glowing examples of when they're dead wrong. And there weren't enough 12-year-old boys in America to take this film over the top.
Oh, yeah. Come on. Well, you know what? With the summer, with that June month alone being so jam-packed, it had no chance anyway. Even if it was a good film, I don't think it would have been successful. Look at Blade Runner. That is a beloved science fiction film. It didn't do well. It made $32 million, but it cost 28. It's a lot of money for a sci-fi film. It's a lot of money in 1982. So they were also, putting a lot on the line for Blade Runner. But just all of the movies that were coming out within a week apart in June, it had no chance. No. It had no chance. Hell, the fucking Secret of Nim, which came out a week after the film, made more money than it. It made $10 million. So it just...
back then, that was a lot of money.
Well, for an animated film, sure.
For anybody.
For any kind of film, but for an animated movie made $10 million. Not a lot. I mean, there are films in here, like there's a film called Six Pack that came out in 1982 that made $20 million.
What do you mean a film? It's Six Pack with Kenny Rogers.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yes, Kenny Rogers with the ragtag group of his pit crew was a bunch of it was the Bad News Bears but with NASCAR.
Oh, I never saw that movie. I never
even
heard of it. I've never heard of it.
You never heard of it? It was Kenny Rogers.
I fucking hate Kenny Rogers.
He's a car racer and he gets this ragtag crew of
I believe you.
Like half a dozen orphans or something. And they become his pit crew.
I'm not denouncing what you said. I just said I've never heard of it.
Well, then why are you talking over?
I wasn't. There's another film called Young Doctors in Love. I never heard of that either.
That's a classic movie. You never heard of Young Doctors in Love?
No, I've never heard of Young Doctors in Love.
Starring what's his name? Lenny.
Lane McLamerson. It sounds awful.
It's a blue comedy from that time period. It's actually quite funny. There's some good stuff to it.
Really?
I recommend picking that up. Yeah, Young Doctors in Love I saw
that made $30 million.
It was very popular. It had a lot of nudity and a lot of humor.
Oh,
it was like
how did I not see that then? I saw everything with nudity in the 80s.
Dude, you're slipping because it's got Dabney Coleman.
No. Let's put it this way. It's not, I'm slipping. I have no time. I have children now. I've never heard of this film, period. Young Doctors in Love and Six Pack. I've never heard of either one. That is just something that I've missed in my youth. Shameful.
It's only a couple years apart. I don't know how you missed them.
I missed
Dabney Coleman's in Young Doctors in Love. How could you even miss that? Yeah. Shit. He plays like an evil doctor or a bad doctor.
Best Little Whorehouse in Texas cost $20 million, made 70. Wow.
Same budget, but less explosions, so that's understandable.
July is kind of like the serious film month, like The World According to Garp, Officer and a Gentleman, Things Are Tough All Over. All of those films came out and they were all successful.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to steer us a bit away from.
Let's do that.
Let's. So we spent a good 15 minutes now talking about this movie, and those who are listening that have never seen it have no idea what the film's about.
And they
So-
don't need to know. This movie.
Well, no,
it's a
doing
fun
film.
bad movie because it is so bad. But this could be, in my opinion, the worst theatrical release we've reviewed yet.
Oh, I seriously, no. I
Really?
think Jim Cotta's far worse.
Jim Cotta's more fun.
But it's less
Jim
coherent.
Cotta's a lot more fun.
Right, but
Almost
but for the
to the
people
point
listening-
of enjoyment. Whereas this, yeah, I enjoyed it because it's so bad. But the parts in the film where, when he did it for the very first time, where he talks under his breath. Did you notice that? Did you notice when he did that with his acting? Barry Boswick. He would talk and be like, whatever. He would talk, and then out of nowhere, it would almost inaudible. You could not hear what he was saying. But that was part of his delivery. And he did it 6 or 7 times through the film, and it was absolutely fucking infuriating. When he did it the first time, I just thought the sound cut out. I thought because, this is an older film, the sound is all fucked up. Then he did it again, and I was just saying to myself, is this what I think is going on? Is he fucking doing this on purpose? And then after the third time, I'm like, all right, this is his fucking shtick.
All right, so
it
once
didn't
again,
that didn't piss you off?
No.
It pissed me the fuck off.
Well, once again, for the audience that's listening that has never seen the film,
Mm-hmm.
let's walk them through it, and I'm going to start off by reading the opening introduction,
Okay.
so we know what Megaforce is.
Okay.
Despite official denials by leaders of the free world, I'm not sure what they mean by the free world. I guess they mean America and England. Sources now confirm the existence of Megaforce, a phantom army of super elite fighting men whose weapons are the most powerful science can devise. Their mission: to preserve freedom and justice, battling the forces of tyranny and evil in every corner of the globe.
Essentially what that means is if you got a problem, you better call Megaforce.
Yeah, I mean,
They'll solve your problems.
It's pretty much the global military version of the A-Team, right down to the budget. At least, well, I mean, when you watch Megaforce 2, it looks like a TV pilot.
film. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big time. It's right down to the whole idea that it's a war where nobody seems to get hurt.
Right. Yep. I mean, you're very right in the fact that from the music right down to the acting, it's got TV written all over it. Now, we've gotten into this discussion before on the show about films in the 70s and the 80s had that feel to it because a lot of the companies that were doing television were also doing film. So it was very common for them to cross over using the same musicians, using the same directors and assistant directors and writers and all that stuff. But there are a lot of times in the 70s and the 80s where there are films that stand apart that don't look like a TV film, that the music doesn't sound like it came off of, your primetime TV in the mid 80s. And those are the films that even now are still, revered by everyone as classics and they love them and all that. Films like this, that's why they disappear in your bargain bin or never get released, on DVD or Laserdisc or even VHS. They just kind of they just die, out in celluloid land. So
right.
it's interesting that so many times during the 80s, there are so many films that are exactly this exact formula. Cinema looks bad, acting is bad, all looks like a TV movie. But, I don't know. It just, you would hope that it would happen less, but it happened more than it produced good film, I think.
Okay, sure.
So, but, go ahead.
So, Megaforce, as we just described, it's a kind of a Team America, which, as you mentioned before we were talking about it in the last episode, they kind of directly reference Megaforce numerous times.
Actually, Chris mentioned that.
Right, and
give credit
also
where credit's due.
I found doing my research, I found that in the introductions to one of the discs on season 2 of South Park, the DVD release, Trey Parker starts describing the episode coming up, and he describes literally the plot for Megaforce. And Matt Stone stops him halfway through and corrects him. So obviously, it's like an old classic film of theirs as well.
Oh yeah, they love it. They
Right.
wanted to remake the film, but they couldn't get the rights to do it. So that's why
How
I
do you
believe-
not get the rights to do that?
I do. If they couldn't get it, then it was a bigger problem. Because if they wanted it, they would have been able to get it.
Who was maintaining a death grip on the rights to Megaforce? My God.
They're still trying to recoup that budget. The mega
commander,
bomb.
Yeah, right? Well, that's how you do it. Now, the commander of Megaforce, of course, is Commander Ace Hunter, played by, as you mentioned, Barry Bostwick, who is best known as Brad from the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yep.
Or as the mayor from Spin City, depending on how old you are, I guess. and him and his elite crew of mysterious. They don't know who their backers are. It's like for all you know, they're backed by like the Russia or communist nations, but they claim to be run by the free world, and as such, it's shrouded in secrecy who actually backs them.
I like how their patches on their shoulders represented what country they were from.
And those patches are on skin tight gold lame jumpsuits.
Yes, they are.
Because real men wear very tight tights. I found myself at least twice inadvertently looking at Barry Bostwick's ass
and package.
Just because the way he's like the camera would be there and he'd be walking away, and there's nothing. They're in a desert. There's nothing else to look at but his gold lame clad ass, and you're just wondering how tight is that? He's actually walking where it must be uncomfortable, like it's riding up.
It had to be.
I've read some reviews.
And to go one step further with that, you could tell he's not wearing underwear because there's no outline of it. So know he's in that thing naked.
Yeah, I've seen
naked under his clothes.
Going commando.
I've
seen reviews that mention that he puts on a kind of a John Wayne swagger. I don't think that's an intentional swagger. I think that's just him avoiding chafing.
It might be. And obviously, he tried to go from Rocky Horror or doing films like Rocky Horror into an action role. When he was offered this, no questions asked. You want me to do what? You want me to wear what? That kind of a budget? It's double the budget of just about everything coming out this summer? Okay. I mean, he's not going to say no.
And I think he actually is treating it like a Rocky Horror film. I don't think he's really treating it as a serious movie.
I think you're right. Oh, sure.
Yeah. Not at all.
I'm just kind of watching what's on the screen right now, and
now his sidekick
he comes in wearing his Elton John outfit. It's the best way I could put it. And he's talking to Major Zara, which is played by Persis Khambatta. She was also in Star Trek, the original Star Trek film.
Who was not assassinated by a thuggy cult.
Right. She was attempting to be a sex symbol throughout the late 70s and 80s, and it fell apart. Didn't happen. She tried to be a Bond girl and was denied.
Well, I get the feeling the directors are trying to make her a Bond girl, a low rent Bond girl. So maybe that's where that comes from.
Well, she actually tried out for Octopussy and didn't get it.
Oh, but I'm saying that she wouldn't be getting other films if other directors didn't see that possibility there.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think her acting and her delivery is atrocious, especially with that thumb kiss that they do for the fucking thing.
Oh, that thumb kiss, you gotta love the thumb kiss.
Fucking hell! And then when she's waving her thumb, and just the face she makes alone is just priceless.
There's a lot of mugging to the camera.
There's no acting involved in a lot of this film.
Now, Commander Ace's sidekick, when he's not hitting on Major Zara, is Dallas, played by Michael Beck.
Right, of
the
Warriors.
He gained renown in the Warriors, and then promptly jumped right into Xanadu,
which we reviewed.
Which, still trying to figure that one out. And then from Xanadu, decided, oh, you know what? I need to get back into my macho roles. Let me go into Megaforce. And it's just never gelled from after that.
Was this the end of his career? Like, really? Like, after this, that was it?
Well, I don't think there was ever a beginning to his career. I mean, he had a beginning to his career. It was the Warriors. And then after that, it was just, okay, he peaked with, like, his first major film. Second major film. He was in Madman. But, I mean, after Warriors, Xanadu,
he did
Battle
one
Truck,
more movie, or two more movies after that, and Triumphs of a Man Called Horse, and
Battle
The Golden
Truck.
Seal. That came out before Megaforce.
Still, Battle Truck the same year.
Well, yeah.
Battle Truck.
But I'm just saying, after 1982, he did nothing but TV stuff, and the last thing he did was, like, I guess the last real thing he did was voice work for the Warriors video game in 2005.
Which also sucked. So
it did.
So Michael never caught a break after the Warriors. It was he was kind of like his character in the Warriors. It's like he's going to survive, but that's about it.
He's just waiting for Quentin Tarantino to revive his career. That's all he's waiting for.
I don't think
you know it's coming. No, it's coming.
Really?
I think so. I really do. I think at some point Quentin Tarantino will contact this guy and try and revive his career because Tarantino is a fan of the film The Warriors.
I think Evan C. Kim has a better shot at being revived.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what else he was in? Remember last week I was trying to figure out the movies he was in? He was in the Deadpool with Clint Eastwood as the Asian partner. And there's a scene in the Deadpool where he says, where he beats up a guy using nothing but karate. And Clint Eastwood just gives him a look and he's like, having an Asian partner, I guess, is pretty good. And then walks away. That was the scene. But he was also in Caveman.
Right.
He played the one caveman that spoke perfect English.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone just doesn't understand what the fuck he's saying. And he's like, all right.
I was right. I was right. He was the in Kentucky Fried Movie.
He was? Okay.
Yeah, he was the lead character in A Fistful of Yen.
Fistful of Yen.
That's that major martial arts film in the middle of it.
Wow.
Remember with the craw?
Yep.
Hello, this is Dr. Craw.
He was also in Cannonball Run.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I love Kentucky Fried Movie.
He did Caveman, then Megaforce. He also did a lot of TV work. As a matter of fact, he did not a lot of the same, but he was in some of the same stuff as Michael Beck. So maybe they had a friendship going on. All the way down to Jag, which Michael Beck was also in. And he played Lieutenant Wong in Jag.
Can you see him like getting the script and like, yeah.
Well, here, let's go through some of the characters he's played over the years. You have Jerry, Suki in Megaforce. Then you have Lee Evans, Peter Wong, Chang, Mr. Chen, Joseph Chan, Dr. Lee, Tommy Lee, Chow Yang, Mr. Moto, Shun Lee, and Lieutenant Wong.
Didn't he play Lou in Kentucky Fried Movie too?
Let's see.
I thought this one that was his name in that. Lou.
Kentucky Fried Movie, that was what, 77? Yes, it was. It was Lou.
Lou.
Fistful of Yen. Poor Kim.
Wait, no.
How do you get a name like Evan? His fucking name's Evan.
He has like a great, like just bland white American name, Evan.
Right.
And in every single film he ever plays in, Wong, Chang, Wong is,
And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if if it's C. Kim is his real name and Evan is just a moniker he uses. Because he's not famous enough or even remotely famous enough to have a bio on IMDb. And he apparently doesn't give a shit enough to do it himself.
I was about to say, yeah. I mean, half of it's being famous enough. Another half is like having a PR person to do it for you or doing it
Right.
yourself. So he what's his last credit? I wasn't looking
His
there.
last credit was Jag, where he played Lieutenant Wong.
I mean, when?
2005, same year
Oh,
as
yeah,
Michael
no.
Beck was on Jag.
He's out. He dropped out.
Yeah, they're both done.
He's like, fuck this.
You would you would
He got-
think
He got one
Megaforce
too
would-
many scripts for a Wong character, so I'm not playing another fucking Wong. Screw this.
That's a lot of Wong numbers.
Ironically, he retired and opened up a Chinese restaurant.
Ooh.
I could have said a laundry.
You
It's
could
not-
have, but you
I
didn't.
could have. Well, I didn't because I'm
But
better
you
than
didn't.
that.
Are you?
Not really, no.
Wow, the pirate movie came out the same summer in August.
You can't review that. You really can't review the pirate movie. There's nothing to
You,
review.
you really can't.
Really can't. I mean,
Wow.
so,
August to end the summer was not Beastmaster,
now
Fast Times, Friday
Hold
the
on, before
13th in 3D.
before you start rattling off box office
I'm done.
releases
I'm
again,
done. I wasn't doing that. I was just.
I'm just going to drag us back. Now, the big problem with reviewing Megaforce is there's
Mm-hmm.
not really nothing really happens in the movie.
No.
Per se. The film starts off with this British general and Major Czar meeting up with Megaforce because they need help getting rid of this
Duke Guerrero,
Guerrero,
played by
Guerrero.
Henry Silva.
Henry Silva slumming it to no end, playing a completely evil dictator.
Mm-hmm.
And to enlist their help, they drive around. They spend like a good half hour just showing them the facilities, which is all like blue screen, matted, and cardboard backgrounds. I don't know what they did with the $20 million. Really don't.
Yeah.
And then there's that scene where they're driving them through this the hangar or whatever, and there's all these planes. Isn't that a top secret? Blah blah blah. I said, no, that's an F-11.
You know what scene is on
Guys,
right now?
What?
The skydiving scene.
Oh yeah, that 10-minute skydiving scene.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You know, the
there's-
faces that Barry Bostwick makes during this film are to the point of ejaculation. Did you notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
in the skydiving scene where he's hovering
Yeah,
over
yeah.
her, the face he makes it's like, I'm there. That's the face he makes. And then, ironically enough, the parachute goes out. It just...
premature.
But even the face he makes during the end scene where he's riding the bike, the face he makes are just like these faces. It's like,
Well, again,
what are
like
you
I said,
doing, Barry? What are you doing? You're in
he's
front of a
treating-
green screen. Try to not attempt to look like you're coming in your pants.
Again, he's handling it like Rocky Horror. He's hamming it up. And be honest, the director drags you to the middle of the desert, puts you in a skin tight gold lame jumpsuit, and tells you you're in an action film. What else are you gonna do? You can't. There's nothing left for him to do but just to camp it up.
Right.
I mean, this.
I love how they incorporated in the skydiving scene anyway. Real skydiving with blue screen or green screen skydiving.
Sure, that's nothing new. Yeah,
But it looks so bad.
and that
The fact that they have them in uniform in real skydiving shots, I just don't understand how they just don't use real shots through the whole scene.
well, because they probably had stunt people doing the actual diving.
Yeah, but who cares? I mean, I don't need to see close-ups of them, with the fucking romantic love music that they got playing.
Yes, you do, because then it's a 7-minute scene and not a 4-minute scene. And the whole point of this entire film is to pad the first half of the film as much as possible. So just like BMX Bandits, so that the last half hour of the film is nonstop action. So for your audience does not leave going, gee, that was kind of boring. They get bored during the first hour when it's all this nonsense. The last half hour is nothing but motorcycles, trucks, explosions, jumping, stunts. And so after the half hour solid of that, you come out, it's like, wow, that was an action-packed film. It wasn't. The last half hour was action-packed. And even then, a lot of again, like watching the BMX Bandits movies from the 80s for last episode, and like, okay, they're just like hopping around on the wheels. You watch this now, and it's impressive when you're watching high speed driving like on highways in like Cannonball Run or Smoking the Bandit, but when you're driving high speed across the desert, you're just driving high speed across the desert. There's not really much skill involved there, and occasionally a motorcycle jumps something, or they do pop. There are a lot of wheelies being popped in this film. A lot of wheelies being popped.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. The introduction to Ace Hunter when he comes in on a wheelie just looks so bad. So I mean, it's I'm not impressed. You come into the scene that I'm just not impressed. I'm sorry, dude. I was hoping he'd fall off that fucking thing, but it didn't happen.
And the way he hops off it, like
yeah, so yeah, it's no big deal.
He's going for pure camp.
I want to talk about Henry Silva for a split second. I want to talk about how young he looked in this. He's 52 years old when he made this film. Now, if anyone pays attention to the opening of the show, the actual video, the video opens up almost immediately with a scene from Above the Law, with Henry Silva getting his arm broken by Steven Seagal. It's a mere 6 years apart from this film to that film, and Henry Silva looks easily 15 years older. I don't know what happened in that 6 years, but he's very skinny, very gaunt. He's got silver hair. In Megaforce, he was very full-faced, still very thin, but he had a lot. He was much fuller in the face. I don't understand what happened in only 6 years. Maybe he couldn't sleep after he did Megaforce. I don't know. But it just, I mean, Henry Silva's still alive too. He's in his 80s. But there was that 6 years between films where it's almost like a different person. I mean, not to mention that, like you said, he's just camping it up through the whole movie. Now, he's supposed to be the bad, the bad dictator, the evil guy, or he perceives himself that way. And then at one point, he lands his plane, and him and Ace are buds.
Well, they have a history. They go way back. They were in school together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But but I don't understand the tension that they were trying to create with that. Were they trying to say, "Hey, he's not that bad," but wait a minute, yeah, he is. Is that what they were trying to do there?
See, what they were trying to do there is that scene in Heat where De Niro and Pacino meet for the first time on camera, like in the diner scene, right? Mm-hmm. Think of the opposite effect of that, and that's what you get in this scene, where you have these two longtime enemies who used to know each other, and there's all this tension, and you bring them together, and it's like it's nothing. There's nothing going on.
It's terrible.
It's a director, filmmaker. See, whenever my camera goes widescreen, you can cover for me by talking while I switch it off, so I don't. There's not a pause sign. I'm
trying. But then you'll start talking, and then I'll be interrupting you, kind of like right now.
No. It's called timing. It's called.
Hey, look at that! My computer's telling me that there's a new graphics driver available. Hopefully, my live stream doesn't fuck up.
Good.
Is that a sign that live stream is going to fuck the bed right now?
I don't know. It looks fine. It looks fine so far.
No, it does, but live stream fucks my computer up like you wouldn't believe.
No, it does. Here's my point.
Mm-hmm.
For a filmmaker like Hal Needham, who's does mainly these driving comedies and stunt films,
right?
He knows stunts, he knows driving, he knows action, and his last few films were comedies. So he's trying to inject what you get in other like westerns, say, that he probably grew up doing stunts on. He was a stuntman, so he's doing stunts in all these films that have these polar opposite characters who meet to get at the same time, who meet, and it's like there's this tension. And as a director, as a filmmaker, he's trying to mimic all these films he's been in, but he's not a good filmmaker, so to speak. So he doesn't know how to pull it off. And what you're seeing is a very bad attempt to pull off this kind of meeting. And what are you laughing at?
I'm just staring at this scene between Bostwick and Kambata. It's worse with no sound. It's bad to begin with, but it's worse with no sound. Just the overacting and to be more specific, just watching Bostwick's ass walk across the screen for 10 seconds.
So,
You're
actually,
right. You're right. There is some chafing that's being avoided. That is absolutely true.
You can't help but look because there's nothing else around. There's nothing on her to look at. Honestly,
they just did the thumb kiss, and she's waving her arm like a retarded child, and he's like,
she's not she's not. All right, she's not unattractive, to say the least.
She's not. She's
But
not.
when she's standing next to him in like a pantsuit, and
Right.
he's wearing the skin tight gold lame, the eye just is automatically drawn to the tight gold lame. There's nothing on her to demand attention.
He's upstaging her every scene that they're in some way.
It's not him. It's the suit.
It is the suit.
It's the suit clinging firmly to his body. It's like the same thing when Tim Curry's wearing a dress in Rocky Horror. You're like, that's a nice dress. It's like, no, it's a guy. The eye draws to it. You can't help it.
You can't. You definitely can't.
I mean, this movie is actually, in a way, this movie is kind of representative to the coming out of gay America in the mid '80s.
What? No, it's not.
Come on, it's like aerobics instructors. It's like a paramilitary aerobics instructors take on nobody. There's really nothing going on. It's just an excuse to run around in tight gold lame and blow things up.
This is true.
If that doesn't describe, inner hostilities towards the oppression of the gay underground during the mid '80s, I don't know what does. Now, and speaking of the '80s,
okay,
two things in the film.
Okay, well, before you say the two things in the film, are we done with the plot? I mean, as far as that goes, that's really it with the plot.
Well, that's my point.
There's this task force fighting evil tyranny. Henry Silva's the bad guy. They meet up near the end of the film because he's the bad guy. They're going after him. Henry Silva says, "Fit as many guys as you can in the plane, and you'll get out of here." And Ace Hunter is like, "There's not enough room." Okay, fuck you. Let's fight. That whole scene happens. Movie's over. I mean, it's so anticlimactic, even with the amount of C4 used in the end scene alone.
If you take out the subplot, the love interest subplot, and all the explosion stuff, the basic story is this British soldier comes to this elite task force, like shadow government task force,
Right.
and asks them to intervene for them. They intervene for them, but then the Brits go back on their deal and won't help them escape, and so then they have to escape on their own, and that's it.
That's it.
That's the beginning and end of it. So yeah, there's nothing holding the film together except gold lame and smoke bombs. That's all that's being held together.
You were saying two things.
Two things about the '80s that are in the film that date this film incredibly.
Hairstyles?
All right, no, two specific things, two very specific things.
Hairstyles and headbands.
Rubik's Cube.
Okay.
In the aircraft scene. I can't finish this. Let me try.
Yeah, it's on right now. Holy shit, dude. That was perfect timing. Okay, what happened now? Anyone that's watching the video, not planned. That is the beauty of Scott. Not planned.
I have my moments.
You have your moments? All right, I take it back.
Yeah, I have my moments.
Okay.
The other thing is the line that is so good, apparently, that they play it again after the credits. Which is, the good guys always win, even in the 80s.
Oh yeah. Oh, my personal favorite line in the film: "He's got more degrees than a red-tip thermometer." My favorite line.
My favorite is the one that the minute they said it, I remember loving it as a kid.
Which was?
It's when Dallas says, "Here comes the egg, and that's no yolk." And then he says to Dallas, "What's the opposite of lessons? A moron?" Exactly. I don't know. As a 12-year-old boy, I loved that line, and I still do.
It says a lot.
Yeah, I actually was close to 12 when this film came out in the 73, 85. Yeah, I mean, when it came out in the theater, I was a 12-year-old boy.
It came out in 82, not 85. 82.
by the time
you were 8 years old.
By the time I saw it on
9 years
cable,
old.
by the time I saw it on cable, I was probably a 10 or 11-year-old boy. Because I know I didn't see it in the theater.
You were born in 73?
Yes.
You were 9 when it came out. So, yeah, you were probably 12.
As I said, 10 or 11. I'm rounding up.
Okay.
Because I didn't see that in the theater, but I remember seeing it on cable repeatedly. It's like, I swear, again, it's when Chris mentioned it last episode, our guest host, Chris Wollner, for the BMX episode, listen to it. When he mentioned the movie, I was like, I totally had forgotten about the film, and then watching it, everything I saw was like, oh my god! I remember like the scene where he takes his hat and puts it on the car and shows how it goes photo negative to like black.
Yeah.
I remember that scene vividly now. Like I carried that with me for years, and at some point in my life, my brain dumped that memory. But it's like it all came flooding back. And even the 80s line, the good guys always win even in the 80s. It's like just a split second before it came up, I was like, I remember that line.
Right.
I mean, I must have watched this film every, cable, shows the movies over and over again, especially back then.
Sure. Oh, God.
Because they didn't have the rights to, they just showed the new stuff incessantly.
Well, they also didn't have as many films as they do now, so they just showed what they had.
Yeah, they didn't
constantly.
have they also didn't have the rights to show as many films. They just got the new ones.
That's true too.
Or as Gary used to put it, they ass fuck them to death. That wordsmith.
Wordsmith. Yeah.
But I remember I probably watched that film at least once a week for a good 3 or 4 months. At least once a week, if not more. And so I mean, the fact that I
remember catching it on cable, but that's about it.
Well,
I only remember seeing it a few times in the 80s.
No, anything that was worth watching in the 80s, I watched over and over again on cable. So that was, it's just having it all come back, and Dallas running around like an idiot, and Porky Pig hologram.
Yeah.
Like when they're sitting there and they're watching little red lines, and it's like, well, that was the most impressive hologram I've seen yet. And like they had no idea what they were looking at until after they filmed it. It's like they filmed that, and you could see like they probably told them you're going to see like a real mountain range and vehicles moving around, and then in post they had already burned all the money on Gold LeMay and stunt drivers.
Yeah.
We don't have it, but we don't have a budget for special effects. What we do here, so they just do like the lined thing you see now. It's just like, I can just imagine when they saw that in the theater, said that's what I was impressed with.
Yeah, it's just amazing. Even back then, that we'll do it in post. Although back then, that's the only way they could do it.
Right, but I mean, it's just ironic that out of the entire film, that's literally the least impressive hologram you see in the entire film.
And it's like, how old are... He puts on the Porky Pig thing, which is obviously a ripoff of Porky Pig. They even mimic the music. And it's like, how old are you? You're supposed to be in a serious conversation about, what is going on with your mission. Here's Porky Pig.
Rednecks like cartoon pigs. That's a fact.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
There you go. Well, there you go. So
they just wanted to throw something in there for the kids. Oh, look, Porky Pig.
And if this was a serious film too, I mean, and it's again, you can tell this is why they wanted to play with this concept in Team America when they made that film. The idea that this is a shadow government operation that has the best technology in the world, like they could probably take down America if they wanted to. Why would they want to do that? We're for freedom. But they purposely make sure there's no country affiliation with the group. It's just like an international. It's for all free countries. But they do things like they're monitoring all phone conversations everywhere in the world.
Right.
Everywhere. And I guess in the 80s it was so ludicrous of an idea, it was kind of fun. But you watch it now, and it goes, yeah, that's what our government's doing right now, isn't it? It's not so happy about that now.
No, not so much. Not so much.
And now we have drones everywhere, which are kind of like these things, except there's not stuntmen in them.
Right.
So yeah. So actually, Megaforce actually exists now, except it's Mega America Force.
Team America. Fuck yeah.
Right.
Coming again to save the motherfucking day.
Yeah, there's no way to review this movie and not bring up Team America because you can tell they were so enamored with the film and we're just, you said.
The reason why Team America exists is because they couldn't get to do the Megaforce remake. So they decided to do a variation or an ode to it in some way. And that's why we have Team America.
See, now I read, and again, it's all apocryphal because it could all just be bullshit to begin with. But I remember reading at the time that they said that they had gotten the script for 2012. And they said we want to make the exact same movie but with puppets, like just to fuck with them. Just literally say we're gonna make the exact same goddamn movie but with puppets. And the lawyers, and again, I read it somewhere, but it could be wrong. They could have been lying at the time. It sounds good, so it sounds fun. But apparently, supposedly, the lawyers said no, you can't do that. And so the next best thing was to do their own film based with the whole puppet thing. And I can see how they closely patterned it after Megaforce. So if they were trying to get the rights to Megaforce as well, they can both be true. Both stories could be true and intertwined.
I would love it if Matt Stone and Trey Parker did another puppet film. I don't care what it's about.
I would love it if they remade Megaforce.
Puppet film or this just Megaforce?
Regular, just Megaforce.
You know who plays Ace Hunter?
Who?
Will Ferrell.
I was just about to say that too. It's too obvious, but it's too obvious.
It is too obvious, but Will Ferrell plays Ace Hunter. There's no fucking question about it.
10 years ago, Kurt Russell. 10 years ago, Kurt Russell would have been perfect for Ace Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, Will Ferrell, I mean, if they do end up making it, and they got to get him in the next 4 or 5 years, because Will Ferrell's going to be too old. Will Ferrell's pushing, I think he's in his mid-40s, almost 50s. Not that to say he couldn't do it, but I think they'd have to get him within the next 4 or 5 years in order for him to pull it off. But although, you know what? I think it would be, you know what? Maybe not. Maybe put Will Ferrell in a gold fucking LeMay, even because Brian Bostwick, not that he was in like amazing shape, but he was in shape. Will Ferrell, not in that kind of shape, so I think it would make it funnier.
No, you'd have to be somebody in shape too to pull it off.
Well, it kind of reminds Will Ferrell in this part. It kind of reminds me of the more cowbell scene, the Saturday Night Live skit, because he's got like the beard and he's got the not the headband, but the hair and all that, and he's wearing like the tight outfit. I think they're just very similar characters.
If Will Ferrell's going to star in any remakes, it's going to be JD's Revenge. Okay, that's top of the list.
That is your recommendation.
That's fucking golden. That's golden.
I think realistically, Megaforce has a better shot, but you never know.
Hey, get Tyler Perry involved.
Tyler Perry, huh?
Yeah, in JD's Revenge, not Megaforce.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. What would he call it? Tyler Perry's. So it would be something ridiculous.
It would be Medea's Revenge.
Medea's.
Will Ferrell get written out? Bad idea.
Yeah.
So. I mean, I think Megaforce is the ultimate example of. I mean, it's a culmination of the Smokey and the Bandit and Cannonball Run and Hooper and all these stuntmen films. It's a perfect example of. It's a culmination of stuntman action films, mass marketing kids films, and big budget Hollywood, all just like that three-way car wreck in the action movies. It's all just compiles, just crashes here into like this big pyramid of cars, and it's a train wreck. What it is.
Oh, truly.
And I just can't. Again, $20 million. You watch this movie, you really have to hope and pray that Hal Needham pocketed a good portion of that budget, because that's the only rational excuse for why this film cost $20 million.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, if you, I want to point out right now, if you go to our Facebook page, Moviesucktastic Facebook page on Facebook and Facebook page, Facebook. If you go to our Facebook page, I have posted up there the trailer for the commercial for the video game at the time,
which I played in the opening of the show. Anyone that wants that's going to watch it, the video, you'll be able to see it.
and a link to a blog where some guy was driving down around California, and in one parking lot saw one of the Megaforce vehicles parked in the parking lot.
Oh, really?
And so he took a bunch of pictures of it. Yeah, apparently they still collected it. They were real vehicles they used. When you first see them, you think, oh, they're like cardboard cutouts over a doom buggies, whatever. But they're real vehicles, and apparently some of them are still floating around.
No shit.
I'd be interested if anybody has any of the Megaforce motorcycles still. With working rockets.
With working rockets?
You have to do the wheelie thing. The one thing I like the part where he does the motorcycle jump over the tank, and he yanks a grenade off of his pants and throws it on the tank.
Right.
Because up until that point, I hadn't seen grenades on anybody's pants. And it occurred to me there that that's a really dangerous place to be putting grenades when you're riding on a motorcycle. Because when you wipe out, the first thing you're going to do is hit the ground with 3 grenades strapped to your leg. And when you hit that ground and wipe out, at least one of those pins, I don't even know if there were any pins because he just pulled it off his pant leg and threw it down. If they're triggered by pulling them off your pant leg, one wipe out and you're dust.
You're done.
I guess it's good motivation not to wipe out.
Right. I guess so. Yeah.
But all in all, a bad movie. I wouldn't say the worst we've seen. I still think.
I don't know, dude.
As far as pacing and comprehensive plot line, comprehensible plot line, I think Jim Cotta fares worse.
But it's not. But it's more fun. That's the thing. It's more fun, so for me, more forgiving.
What's more fun, Jim Cotta?
Jim Cotta is a lot more fun than this movie.
There are a lot of slow spots, though.
In Jim Cotta, but it makes it up in spades. There's enough shitty fucking ninja karate Jim Cotta action than this film has a lot more slow spots.
I think it has one long slow spot and then a bunch of action on either end. And Jim Cotta doesn't have that much action spread out amongst all the. I don't know. I think whether or not you enjoy it, I think you have to admit that Jim Cotta is a slightly worse film than Megaforce, just because of plot, pacing, and dialogue alone. I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy call, but I think that Megaforce doesn't come out in the lead. Well, let's put it this way: we're going to do the official Moviesucktastic rating on IMDb.
Let's do it.
Megaforce currently holds a massive 2.9.
Yeah.
Starting at the 3-point mark, do you want to go up or down?
Down.
Down. What's your give me a good reason to go down?
Good reason to go down? Green screen. Too much fucking green screen. I mean, to the point of being nauseous. Okay. I mean, that's just one of the things. I mean, you can go green screen, you can go poor acting, you can go fucking Golden LeMay, you can go fucking headband. You can go, let me whisper my lines to create seriousness with my acting. I lost you. You want to blame me, but it's not me. Your voice just, listen, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Your audio went out again. All right, everybody, this is the part of the show where I disconnect from Scott and reconnect. Let's call Scott again.
My new computer is going to solve all of this.
It better.
Shut up. Mr. 15 minutes late because you can get the sound working.
That's not why I was late. I never said that's why I was late.
I spent 5 minutes listening to you curse at your computer because the sound wasn't working, so don't start with me.
No. The streams wouldn't start recording. That has nothing to do with sound.
It was recording, right? Sound's involved.
All right. Apples and oranges, dude. Seriously.
Don't apples and oranges me, you son of a bitch.
A program that records sound wouldn't start recording. It has nothing to do with sound, not
except it's a sound recorder. It's a technical difficulty.
You're making it sound like
it's a technical difficulty.
You're making it sound like it's oh god. There's no real way to fight this battle.
It's a technical difficulty. I have a technical.
Sure, I'll agree with that.
We both had
What you had was where nobody could hear you. That's not what was happening in my case.
I didn't say it was the same thing. I'm saying they're both technical difficulties. Man, sorry.
Man, oh man.
You picked a good. You got to pick your battles, sir. Pick your battles.
Pick them. All right, I'm going 2.
All right, Megaforce gets 1 star automatically for stunt driving.
Okay.
And 1 star automatically for explosions. That's 2 stars automatically. I'm giving it a star for the Gold LeMay because I think it's a brave, bold move for military to dress their soldiers in clothing that wouldn't stop a breeze, let alone a bullet. So that's up to 3.
Well, how about we give it a 2 because absolutely every single actor called it in this fucking movie. Everyone called this movie in.
I think
there is not one serious performance from anybody.
I think that's a great disservice to George Firth. I really do. Especially after him putting up as being the foil of the Cannonball Run film. I think he deserves a lot of credit for this one. That's all. And Edward Mulhare, come on, don't. I mean, he's.
I love how this is the scene where Henry Silva shows up and they're like best fucking buds, like to the point where it's uncomfortable, where his entire crew is like, what the fuck? I love the token black guy where he actually has the what the fuck face the whole time. He's just got his head is cocked a little to the side. He's like, what the fuck, man? And even brings it up that he like looks at Dallas. He's like, what the fuck? Yeah, this is the guy that's going to try and kill us later in about 10 minutes.
But nobody dies in these wars.
Nobody.
There's no death in the wars, so why would he be upset with him? I think they're just in on the joke. They're in on the joke that there's no death.
You stole my lighter. You gave it to me? Oh, okay.
You forgot to give it back.
You forgot to give it back?
See, he's such a peacemaker, he doesn't even want to argue with his old friend turned
That's
bitter
right.
rival.
I love it. Later on, he looks down at his lighter, and it's a different one. He took back his ace lighter.
Yeah.
All right, so you're saying 3, I'm saying 2. We can't go anywhere in
3.
between because IMDb doesn't allow it.
I
gave you a bunch of reasons to drop it to 2, dude.
Give me a 3 for the Gold LeMay. Come on. You know you liked looking at his ass.
You really don't.
But you couldn't help it.
How could you not? You're right. You're fixated to it. It's centered on this goddamn screen. They did that on purpose.
Mm-hmm. They used that looker technology.
That's what it was. It was designed in the looker lab.
Yeah. You've got more idea of how his body looks than hers.
Yeah, they cover her up quite a bit. I mean, she's right now in the scene, she's wearing a goddamn trench coat. And fucking Barry Bostwick, you could practically see his nipples.
Mm-hmm. See? Yep, right there. That's 3 stars right there.
3 stars?
Come on.
All right. 3 stars.
2 stars seems like, for me, 2 stars is a film that actually makes me angry. I can't see giving
this film did make me angry. I don't remember. I remember seeing it when I was a kid. I don't remember disliking it this much.
This film made you physically angry?
I don't know, man. Maybe because I was just really tired when I watched it again. Maybe that wasn't the best way to watch this film.
See, you're blaming some personal issues on the film here. I think that's the problem.
Well, being tired is not a personal issue.
It's your problem.
It's okay.
Come on, give me a 3.
I gave it to you already. Go ahead, 3. Give it a 3.
You're gonna thank me later because you're gonna realize that it didn't deserve.
I'm gonna rewatch it.
Yeah.
Do you know this is out remastered on DVD?
Am I mistaken, or is it on Blu-ray?
I don't believe it might be on Blu-ray. You know what? I'll look for you. You go ahead and do that with IMDb, and I'll just take a quick look, see if it's
done.
out on Blu-ray.
It's done.
It's done?
I could have sworn I saw a picture.
I know
of
it's on DVD.
Right. I could have sworn somebody was maybe someone did a mock-up of it, just kind of like saying, "Hey, this could happen in the future," like these psycho movie fans do. But I could have sworn I saw a Blu-ray of it.
Well, I did a search for Megaforce Blu-ray, and the only thing that's coming up on Amazon is the DVD.
Yeah, I think it was just a mock-up. Ooh,
well, they could you could upconvert any DVD to HD and call it
no.
whatever you want.
What I'm saying, the cover I think was like a
Oh,
photo
okay.
mock-up. That's what I mean. Titanic Collector's Edition
Yeah.
coming out. The Titanic 3D's Collector's Edition, and the box looks like the boat, except square.
Oh, really? Super.
And it comes with like a photo book and stuff.
Well, Japan, there's a website, a Japanese website that is selling the Blu-ray of Megaforce for $36. Now, it says it's coming out October 12th, 2012. But it could just very well be them upconverting the DVD to Blu-ray.
Right. Their copyright rules are a little less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not. They don't give a fuck. They really don't.
Well, the Megaforce DVD just came out September.
Oh, really? This month?
Yeah. I was as surprised as you. I noticed it earlier today. Apparently,
Wow.
the week we mentioned Megaforce and started bringing it up just happened to be the same week it came out on DVD, and I don't think that was planned because it just came up in conversation. Chris didn't say, "Oh, it's out on DVD." He just mentioned the movie, and we started talking about it.
Well, because Hal Needham was the director of Rad.
And Chris actually mentioned, because I was looking at Hal Needham stuff, and I said Megaforce. What the hell's that? And then Chris jogged my memory. So how ironic is it that we just happened to review this accidentally a week after it just released on DVD?
Huh.
That's weird. I think we got our finger on the pulse of something here.
Is a little weird. Yeah, there is not a Blu-ray of it, just DVD.
Thank God. I think we're like psychically tapped into the movie spectrum.
You think so?
It's like the Dead Zone, but with bad movies. Megaforce is gonna come on DVD. Instead of the ice is gonna break, that kind of thing.
Right.
That
Let's
works.
see. Megaforce. Yep, September 4th, 2012.
See, why are you checking me like I'm lying or something?
Well, no, I just happened to be on the Amazon site. So.
Well, if anybody wants to buy that, I'll put a link to the DVD on the Facebook page, please. And if you're going to buy it, go to the Facebook page and click on the link because we'll get some money if you click on that link directly.
It says Amazon says there's only one left in stock and more on the way.
Which part of that do I believe less? We got one left. Get that order in for Megaforce. I don't think we're going to be getting in that order for Megaforce.
I love this. I love the box art. There has never been a superhero like Ace Hunter.
There hasn't.
Not words. And there hasn't been since.
Deeds.
I love the fucking box art.
Well, that's the movie poster, isn't it?
I believe it is. I'm so happy that they used it.
If you go to RottenCotton.com, they sell a T-shirt with the movie poster on the front.
They do.
Yeah, Rotten Cotton is good for some of your more obscure cult films. They don't have a Jim Cotta T-shirt, so we can jump on that. But they do have a Megaforce T-shirt.
Very nice. All right. What do you want to do now? Do you want to move into top 10, or you just want to call it quits for this episode?
Is there anything crazy going on in the top 10? Any new movies to talk about?
Okay, we can talk about the top 10 just in the fact that it was the worst weekend for this weekend comparable to other ones in years. They said the amount of money that this weekend made was one of the worst in years.
I believe it.
There was only one new movie. There was only one new flick out, and I'll tell you exactly what that was. And that was The Words with Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was for the weekend of September 7th through 9th. But other than that, it was not a very impressive weekend at all. pretty bad, actually. I mean, it's all the same movies as last week, except with the exception of the words. That's it. It just... Yeah, I'm just looking at all the films that I have on the screen
I don't even
now.
think it's worth...
It's just... No, it's not worth even mentioning. My finger list would be the same as last week. It would be Hope Springs. Not
You know
Hope
what's
Springs.
sad? You know what's sad? I was double checking the Megaforce DVD release.
Yeah.
There's no audio commentary.
Oh, they couldn't get Barry Bostwick to do it?
Anybody. I want to hear someone from behind the scenes talk about this goddamn movie.
I wouldn't be surprised if they requested it and they said no.
What's Barry Bostwick doing these days? Is he still alive?
Yeah. He's still acting. He's still very, very much acting, actually.
Oh, he's still acting? Then there's no way we can get a hold of him for an interview. Never mind.
We might.
If he's
Doesn't mean
dead,
he's doing anything of any real value.
Then we do
you
have
never
a
know until you never know till you try.
If he's not doing anything of value, then we do have a shot of talking to him.
Yeah.
I would love just to. I just need somebody from the production just to give an insider of what it was like.
I would do a whole episode just talking to somebody from the production crew of this film. We got to find somebody that would talk to us for an hour.
I don't know. I just have an overwhelming desire to hear about behind the scenes shit with this. I just need to know where the money went. Just tell me where the money went.
Right.
That's because it didn't go into the production. That's all.
It sure didn't.
But I can definitely see myself watching this again in the near future. It's on my heart. It's
I might.
I have it. I'm not getting rid of it anytime soon. It's staying in my collection.
Oh yeah.
Right next to Jim Cotta.
Jim
I
Cotta.
won't rate this one of the worst though. This is Jim Cotta worthy. This is a Jim Cotta worthy film. I will say that.
This is a great bad movie day. We've
It's
already
right
decided.
up there with Treasure.
Yeah.
It's right up there with Treasures of the Four Crowns. Definitely.
We've already decided on showing Jim Cotta this year.
Yes.
But which will be online this year, will not be at my house like it usually is outside, which sucks because I really wanted to do that this year. I wanted to break out the brand new projector that we have, high def projector. I wanted to break out the new reconditioned sound system. The speakers are positioned better. Everyone would be able to hang out on the new deck. But, it wasn't in the cards. Wasn't able to do it this year. We will do it online. That invite is coming out this weekend. And Scott and I have not decided on the exact day yet. But we will this weekend. And you will be able to watch the movie Jim Cotta with Scott and I via live stream. Stream.
Awesome fun.
Yes, should be lots of awesome fun. So,
but I'm all good for just wrapping up the episode, a little Megaforce finale.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it.
All right.
So,
we sound so beaten. This is like a weird episode. We sound defeated.
I sound more. I'm just fucking exhausted.
I can tell, but it just really sounds like a. Yeah, that was Megaforce. There's no point in talking anymore. Let's just stop.
I'm so tired. I'm just so done.
No, that's for Megaforce.
All right.
Definitely.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for episode 86 of Moviesucktastic. You can download our podcast at iTunes. You can leave us reviews. You can download them at our website. And you can listen to them. Listen to me. I am just fucking beat. You can listen to them there as well. You can leave us email at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. I'm sure we have a brand new answering message there.
Yes, we do.
Do we really? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was hoping that we did. I think we've had that for about 3 or 4 weeks now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay, good. I have no words of wisdom. I never really do. Scott usually does. Do you have any this week, sir? Okay.
Yes, I do, Joey.
What do you got?
Just remember, the good guys always win, even in the 80s. And Joey?
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Have a good one.